Hi everyone, welcome. This is the first video that I am recording in order to show you how to use STATA. STATA is a very popular software used for data analysis. So the idea of this video is to present you a brief introduction to the software and also some commands that will let you manage databases in STATA. Remember that in Bloque Neon, you will find the instructions to install STATA in your computer. If you have any problem, remember that you can also access to the software by using NUCAC. So let's start. This is STATA. If you want to change the language of the software, you could do it here in preferences and user interface language. You must keep in mind that even if you change the language here, all the commands that we are going to use are going to be in English, even if you choose, for example, Spanish, because that this changes the language only for the interface. Okay, so to begin, it is necessary that you choose a working directory. A working directory refers to a folder in which you are going to save all the databases that you will import to STATA. So for example, in my case, I'm going to choose this folder because here is where I have the database that we are going to use today. After that, I'm going to import the database by using the command use and the name of the database. In this case will be the database encuesta. Here, STATA presents you like the list of commands that you are using. They are going to appear in order. Also, a list of the variables that has the database that you import. So for example, I choose this database because I think that it's very complete. It has really diverse information. So for example, here we have the wage aspiration from the respondents, some grades from their, I don't know, semesters or courses, their age, height, gender, also their weight. So I really encourage you to try to see with more detail which type of information this database presents you. After that, now that I have this database here in STATA, I think that we could use the command browse. This command will create a new window in which you will see all the observation for all the variables that this database has. I think that this database has more than 500 observations. So it's very complex. But yes, here is where you can like see all the information that database has. Also, if you want to change any observation from the database, you could use the command replace. And after that, the name of the variable in which you want to change the observation. For example, I'm going to use this one. And then I'm going to use equal the number, the new number that I want that appears in the database. I'm going to put, and after that, I'm going to use in and the number of the observation that I want to change. So for example, if I want to change the answer from the first respondent, I'm going to write 1. So if I use browse again, this the number that I wrote will appear in the first observation from this variable. Also, you can do this by using edit. So edit presents you the same window as browse, but it will let you make changes in the observation. So for example, here in observation number 8 for the wage aspiration, I will change it to this one, and automatically STATA will change that number here in the database, but also it will create the command replace. I think that it is important that you use also the command list. This command, you could use it to ask STATA for specific observations from a variable. So for example, I don't know, I want to get the observation from this variable, that is the age, and STATA will present all the observation from all the respondents for that specific variable. Nevertheless, if for example, you only want the, I don't know, the first 10 observations, you could use again the command list, the name of the variable, but now you will write in 1 to 10. So STATA will present you the 10 first answers for that question. Also, I think that you could change the name of the variables. To do that, you use the command rename. After that, the name of the variable that you want to rename. I think that I'm going to change this one, and the new name will be airplane. So here you could see that the name of the variable is avión, but after that I use this command, it will change to airplane. Also, you can delete a variable, so by using the command drop, and after that, the name of the variable that you want to delete. I'm going to delete ICFES, and here the variable appears, but after that I use the command, it will disappear. It is necessary that you understand that those changes that I'm doing in the database are changes that are not going to be making into the original database. So, for example, the original file with this database won't be affected by those changes. Those kind of changes, STATA only does it for example, in the database that just have been imported, but not in the original file. So if, for example, you use the command clear, like to restart STATA, like to change all, to not only delete the changes from the databases, but also to, delete the database from STATA. So right now here, I'm not working with any database. So if I want the database encuesta again, I have to import with the command that we used at the beginning. And here you will see that the variable ICFES will appear again, because as I told you, the changes are not doing in the original database. Also, for example, you could keep only certain variables. So here we have variables that refers to grades. So I only want to keep those variables. So here I could use the command keep, and after that you see that all those variables starts with CAL. So I'm going to write here keep CAL and use this one is asterisco, and STATA will delete all like the rest of the variables that that do not begin by CAL. Another command is, for example, describe. Well, but to describe, let me use again the original database. Now, with describe, STATA will present more detailed information about the variables and the database. So here is the name of the database, the number of observations or respondents, the number of variables that this database has, the name of the variables, but also the type. So in STATA, there are different kind of types of variables, but I think that it is important that you understand three. The first one is the type float. It refers to variables that contains numbers with decimals. That means real numbers. Also, you will have, for example, the type int. That means that these variables contain numbers, whole numbers. I mean, numbers that don't have decimals. And also, there are string variables such as género. That means that it contains text, but also could be variables that contains numbers, but that STATA doesn't recognize, that STATA recognizes as text. So you won't be able like to do, for example, a mathematical analysis of that variables. You have to first change those variables from a string to int or float. I think that I could teach you in another video, but for example, here, the variable, those variables that are grades appears as float because it has like numbers with decimals, as you can see here. Also, you have, for example, an int variable for this variable, which is colegio grado. You will find it here. It doesn't have decimals. And for example, in género is a string variable because it's text, like mujer or hombre. Okay, I think you can also create new variables. To do that, we use the command generate. And I'm going to generate, for example, the average between this variable and this one. So to do that, I write the command generate, the name of the new variable that I want, for example, this one. And after that, it will be equal to, I'm going to take this variable, add this one, and after that, I will divide it into, because it's the average from those two variables. So here at the end of the list, you will find the new variable, and also you can like write a label for that variable by using label variable, the name of the variable, and after that, I don't know, the label that you want to keep for that variable. And if I use again browse, at the end will appear that new column with the average from the two variables that that I choose. So for example, the average between 3.8 and 4.2 is 4. Yes. There are different, I mean, you can like do different type of operations with STATA. So for example, let's generate a new variable. of about peso. And for example, I could use this variable power to and here you will find like a peso power 2. Also, you can do a natural logarithm. So generate, for example, estatura. And the natural logarithm of that variable. And that will appear at the end. Also, I would like to present you this command, which is summarize. I think it's very useful for mathematical analysis. So I'm going to choose 3 variables, which are going to be this one, and this one. So the command summarize presents you the number of observation, the mean, the standard deviation, and the minimum and maximum values that the variable contains. Here you could see that género doesn't have any information by using summarize, because remember that género is a string variable. That means that is a variable that contains information in text. So you can't like calculate the mean of a variable that has only a femenino and masculino, for example. But here in those 2 variables, you will be able to see that information, no matter if it's a float variable or an int variable. And finally, I think that we could, for example, create an histogram. STATA gives you the opportunity to create really interesting graphs that we are going to be studying during the videos. So for today, I want like a very simple graph, which is an histogram about, for example, this variable about the weight. So after that, I use that command, STATA will give me this graph by which, for example, I could like assume that most of the respondents doesn't have really a high weight, because for example, a high proportion of the weight of the respondents is located here, like in this interval from 50 to 70 kilograms, for example. So well, I think that's all for today. As I told you, this was only a brief introduction. I hope you found this video useful, and in the next videos we are going to study how to make the different analysis that Chetna has teach you in class, how to do it in STATA. So see you next time.